Thanks for watching Wild with Wilder. This is your host, Alex Wilder. I hope everybody's having a great day. It's interesting time in the VV space. The Ghost Rider drop happened a couple of hours ago. I just got mine delivered. So I was able to snag a common on the on the 4 minute rebound. So that's my third drop I've been able to get. Every single one has been a comic book, two commons, one uncommon, so nothing too crazy. Really, the fun action is happening in the secondary market. So I hope you guys are paying attention. I hope you guys are planning, strategizing, doing whatever it is that you can possibly do to make sure that you are able to kind of play the game. So yeah, like other day went off a little bit on the Kanye West Genius documentary. Nothing too crazy. The craziness is coming next episode, and they come out weekly. From what I understand, there's 3 episodes that you can kind of watch in total. So we're waiting for the third and final episode to hit so we can kind of talk and pick it apart and have a good time. It's only pretty recently that I really started having my issues with Kanye. And it hasn't even been so much the craziness. It's been more the treatment of the people around him. That's kind of my personal line. Like if you have a circle, you want to treat them respectfully. I don't like that kind of unnecessarily top-down disrespect where the person can't do anything back because they just don't have your clout or your, well, I guess your clout. Clout is enough. Your resources, whatever. But it was fun to reminisce about that early struggle where he was just coming up, trying to get on, trying to be a rapper and not just a producer. And that right there, it's always a fun story to watch. But when you go and actually watch the documentary, they are showing you bits and pieces of interview footage where the way Kanye speaks, where he does those long, like endless rambles that we're starting to see more and more, like when he went on Jimmy Kimmel and he was just going and going and going and going and going and going until Jimmy Kimmel cut him off. That's apparently how he's always talked. So we've just only seen kind of bite-sized bits of Kanye. And when it's been more in positive endeavors, like when he went on Sway in the Morning and stuff like that back in the day, back when 808s and Heartbreaks came out. So it was really fun being able to reminisce, being able to go back and hear your favorite beats, being able to see like all these raucous artists come through, see him hanging out with Mos, with Quali backstage before going on stage, seeing really his introduction in the hallway to Pharrell. Now, a lot of the footage I had seen before because it's been posted up, but it was just cool really seeing that. Other than that, life is life, everybody. I'm still on my VV grind, and I'm at that point where now that I kind of think I know how the market is going to move going forward, I'm interested in doing some of these moves. So I'm trying to place some of the strategy. I'm trying to place focus on the areas where I'm ahead and go on offense in that regard, as opposed to holding back and hoping for better days. Because there's a lot of stuff happening right now. That Aston Martin that is selling for, I think the auction was up to 2 point something million gems, is insane. It's insane for a lot of reasons. One, we knew that there were some whales that were just kind of waiting and sitting back, waiting to do some crazy stuff. And if I remember right, I think that if you do an auction, and this is somebody who has A, never posted an auction, B, never won an auction, C, never bidded a large amount on an auction. I always like bid low, just hoping that like maybe one day everybody on the planet's going to forget in 2 days time or a day's time when the auction ends. But I like seeing the notifications of when it actually sold, what the sell price is, and stuff like that. Because people are jumping out of so many of these positions and all of these items that now we're starting to see stuff on the marketplace back when I first hopped in. Mighties, the Marvel Mighties, that first series for the Eternals, they're sitting in the 20s instead of the 30s and 40s. Some of them are in the low 30s, but none of them are really sitting super high. A lot of comic books. A lot of the commons of the recent ones are starting to be in there for, it's like $9, $8.50, $10, $9. So that might not be bad. Buy them as a group, stack them, wait for the price to rise by X amount, sell them for an X amount. And because you had 10, you got a good chunk instead of just having one. My biggest problem when I first got on is I tried to collect instead of tried to gather inventory to sell. Because if I had been more surgical and strategic, I would have gone for the stuff that was going to most optimally sell quicker right now, where I could still be ahead instead of like, oh, I got this, but I want to get this. I want to get Spider-Man. Oh, I want to get a Deadpool. I want to get And so now it's like I get a little bit of scratch, but it's none of that satisfaction of I put this into motion. And it's just now starting to go and starting to gather for me. So pretty happy about it. I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to make some sort of these moves, make some big changes, because this whole Veve space, it's really, it's new to me, sure. But it's not the fact that it's new. It's more the fact that it's interesting, an active young marketplace. And it's getting me looking for more active young marketplaces that I can hop in on. I can't get in on Recur. It's like $700 for the Recur Pass. So if you have that sitting around, cool. I don't have that sitting around. I don't have that sitting around in ETH right now. And I guess that's part of what makes people want to be in on it, because they know that barrier to entry is low. So the opportunity to attain is therefore high, and then your success rate increases based on that. And I know too, that's why people like to flip the expensive items, and that's where I'm trying to get to now. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Other than that, and we'll make this the last little intro piece before we kind of get things going. I'm getting back into my intermittent fasting, which I used to do really, really hardcore when I was working out some years back. And now I think I had gotten to this point where I was eating too much way too late. So I'd wake up and I would just feel so like heavy and just whatever. So I'm like, oh, easy solution. Let's cut the eating off at about 8 o'clock. And then I remembered how on point I was throughout my days when I didn't start eating until like maybe 12. So then you have a window, this 8-hour window of just only when your food is being processed. I'm trying to find the line because I'm pretty naturally slim and I don't want to get too skinny when I'm trying to gain a little bit, pack the muscles back on now that I got away from running and stuff like that. And the intermittent fasting is pretty dope. So I'm a fan. I got to figure out a way to really get more impactful proteins throughout the day, but it's a really good start. And I highly recommend it to everybody. All right, so once again, we got some fun topics. We're going to talk about Veve drops, comic book stuff, give you a Skyrim update, some photography-ish, walking around the world with Wilder. Let's go. Before we continue with our Wild with Wilder episode, I wanted to give you guys this new cool event that's happening on St. Patrick's Day in the DFW area, Dallas St. Patrick's Day Bar Crawl. I wanted to give you this fun % off discount. And I'm going to tell you why you need this. So We all know how crazy St. Patrick's Day gets every single year. The parade is phenomenal. You go, you walk up and down Lower Greenville. The party is just going right. Everyone's having a great time. And then it ends and it's like 12. And you're like, well, let's get some food. Or, well, I don't know where we want to go. Or maybe we just go home. And so now your fun day of events is starting to fizzle. If you didn't buy or rent a hotel room on the strip, you can't keep the party going. Well, now we have the perfect solution. The party keeps going with the St. Patrick's Day bar crawl event, rocking with Social Scene. And I'm going to tell you why I rock with this group. I do some work with these guys. I do some videography work. So come through and see me. I was rocking this event. I worked with them during New Year's Eve, and I can tell you all of the fun locations that you can get into by having this pass. Go to Frida's. Go to Kung Fu. You know how busy Kung Fu is during these events? So sign up now. Pick your poison and look at these great discounts that you're going to get. So the prices are already reasonable. They're already great. And this is a very, very, very fun event. But you get 20% off just by following my link. 20% off. So let's click the ticket so you can see exactly what you're going to be getting by signing up for this fun event. So one of the things that I want everybody, oh my gosh, look at that, early admission. And this is if you arrive to the event before 1 p.m., only $9.60. I mean, the current cost is great already, only $12, but $9.60, there's no reason not to do that. That costs less than going to the movies. I mean, this costs less than going to the movies and sitting in a good screen. Like, you can't not get this. And then general admission for just you show up when you want to show up, only $16 even. So click the link in my description right now and let's get back to the podcast. Boom. Oh, don't forget the code CRYSTON20, Kristen20, CRYSTON20 to get your 20% off discount for the Social Scene Bar Crawl in DFW today. Okay, so let's kind of keep things going. Thanks for rocking with Wilder. So I'm trying something new with photography. For those of you who don't know, I take pictures too. I'll start posting some of my stuff here and there randomly whenever. But I'm on this mission right now. I'm on this massive mission to do a photography collection for a lot of reasons. I've been taking pictures for years. It's been close to 10 years before I really started taking it seriously and doing shoots, working with models, going to events, taking pictures of whatever I could do, family events and stuff like that. And so now it's one of my professions is I have my camera gear back here, which maybe I'll do a video just going through all that one day just because, or no, check out Snapchat because I'm always, if you go to Wild with Wilder and follow me there on Snapchat, I'm always like doing, oh, hey, I'm at this site. I'm going to get this picture. Oh, we're going out. We're going to do whatever. Follow the Snapchat. And you can kind of see what's going on even more so with the photography events. So here's really been my struggle with photography in general. It's what do I want to say? What do I want to take an image of? Because I have the technical skill set down. Like, you know what I mean? There's varying degrees of skill. I study all the time, so trying to improve a little bit here and there. That's going to come in time. But my perspective, my interests, my voice, as we call it in the writing world, what is it? I'm not fully sure. Like, I have what I've been doing because I want to put together an art show and I want to do some, what do you call it? Work at some booths, maybe even doing like a gallery setting or whatever. But really, I just want to get my work in this like collectible form. things that people are going to want to hang on their walls, things that people are going to want to post up. And I have a lot of images. And I was going through all of the best ones to try and put together something. So one of the things I'm doing now is there's something in the DFW area that I kind of want to take pictures of. So I'm going to go through this afternoon after this, and I'm going to be out shooting today for a little bit. And I don't know if it's going to be good or not. That's the crazy thing. Like, the pictures are going to be good. They're going to be wonderful pictures. You captured everything in the frame. But what makes a picture great? That's really the question. What makes a picture great? Is it how clear it is, how sharp it is, how perfectly placed and framed everything is? Kind of. That's what gets you into the room, but there's more to it than that. There's a soul to the images that we try and convey, and that's what I'm really grasping for. Like, I don't know exactly what's going to come with it. Now, I had taken some really cool images from kind of like tops of parking garage structures, just a few, and it was fine, but it wasn't like moving me or moving to me the way it should. But I don't know, there's still cool pictures. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of live in that area for a while and just kind of canvas around and grab what I can grab. 2-3 days, everything, sit down and kind of like tumble it around and see what is pulling me towards it. Because I've done shoots where I've set things up and I grabbed lighting and models and blah, 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 blah. And the pictures have been garbage. And I've done some where I did the same thing, tons and tons of setup work, and there's some of the best pictures I have. And it's like, what's the factor? What differentiates between why did these come out immaculate and these were just trash? That's what I'm trying to find out. So, I mean, I have a couple of reasons for wanting to do that, other than, yeah, I love taking pictures and I like putting pictures out into the ether for people to see. But it's like, there's a lot of time and investment and interest and study that's gone into this. And even though I'm still learning, I'm still improving, I want to start to leave my footprint. So I'm really hoping that I'm able to capture the energy that I'm wanting, because the energy is what is most important when people are making their decisions for, do I want to live with this photo? Do I want this photo to be in my home with my family, resting above us while we eat dinner? Like, that's the question that I'm always asking when I think collection. Is this a photo that people want to have as their wallpaper and splash about, as backgrounds and backdrops? What makes something great when it comes to photography? And that's just the question. So it's like, all I can do is keep shooting. All I can do is keep searching. But that's kind of where my head is at right now. So yeah, look out for a collection soon. I'll probably start posting links on my Twitter page, Wild with Wilder, as I cipher and sift through some pictures. I'll start posting some pictures here and there, and we'll see how that goes. But I figure there's going to be some time for me to kind of get my ducks in a row. But I'm hungry for it, like, now. I'm ready for something big now, something interesting now. Like, that's what I'm about. So I'm going to go to some of my old like spots throughout DFW, throughout Dallas, because I think that that's where some of the cool bits are. And we'll see how it goes, because there's always a way to convey brilliance in the mundane. You just have to look at it properly and wait for the right moment. So trying to time it, we'll see. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Veve Black Panthers drops and some other stuff. And here, let me tell you why. So I'm scrolling through the Veve app, and I'm seeing Black Panther uncommons sitting at about 61, 62, 63, 64. I think they listed for 50, as Marvel does. So when I see something in that 60 range, listing for 50 as a collectible, that's really cool to me. Now, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the one or not. Because it's Black Panther. It's an FA. It's his first NFT appearance ever. It's his first collectible NFT appearance, I'll say. They put out the comic book, but doesn't count as an FA. That's different. It's the Black Panther that we know. It's the one from the movies. That same armor, that same design, that same style. It's interesting. It's fire. It's cool. The secret rares and the ultra rares, they just have impact. And even the common has the Wakanda Forever pose, which is why it's sitting at about 118, 120. And the uncommon is like half the price. So it's got me thinking, is this a train that I really want to board? Is this one that I want to be a part of? Because there's a really interesting play here. We know that Veve people have an uncommon bias. They overlook the uncommon a lot. It has a much lower edition size. And the price is very reasonable. But that Wakanda Forever pose is huge. So is this going to be a situation where Black Panther figure starts to act like Spider-Man? Because in my estimation, Black Panther is not the same as Spider-Man in terms of what the character means. He's more of an ideal. He's a first. Black Panther is going to give you more of a vibe closer to Superman in that he's a little bit too perfect. He doesn't really make many mistakes, especially in the comic books. He's often written as a Gary Stu. And there was this wonderful comic book issue that people pointed to all the time where he put Silver Surfer in like a chokehold. And that took him down because, you can't fight leverage, even though Silver Surfer is like a god, basically. The Herald, So is Black Panther really going to move like a Spider-Man, secret rare Spider-Man, ultra rare Spider-Man, the first Spider-Man NFT official FAs on Veve? Those moved crazy apparently when they first dropped. Black Panther, I don't know. He's not Spider-Man. People don't relate to him the way that they related to Killmonger. When I would go to those same conventions and I would see all of the Spider-Man characters flipping about and I saw 30 people in Spider-Man costumes, like that's not an exaggeration, 30. And like 3 or 4 Deadpools. I didn't see any people dressed as Black Panther, but I did see some people dressed as Killmonger. He's the cooler character. He's a more relatable character. He has that American lean because he's half Wakandan, half American. And Michael B. Jordan played the hell out of that character. So Black Panther isn't really Spider-Man, but does that mean that people aren't hungry for this? I don't know. It doesn't feel like the fast play, maybe the gradual play like Storm. It's nice to have a figure of Chadwick Boseman. But at the same time, like they're so low, they're only like the uncommons are only at 60 something, 64, 63, 65. It almost like, why wouldn't you just get a couple or one? and just see what happens in 6 months. Because that long version of that play, it might do what the Spider-Man Zombie Hunter Spider-Man was doing. I grabbed one at 72. Now they're flooring at 160 in the squeeze, man. I saw them getting to around 210. It's wild. It's madness. It's fun. It's just fun stuff. So, yeah, I think about this a lot because I'm not really sure what the predictive move is, but I know that if any of those Black Panthers really rise and they all start to rise up, it might be nice to have a couple of those, but that kind of deviates from my current plan. But it's really interesting, especially because I look at the market. I look at I'm seeing like Sue Storms at like 38 gems when she dropped at 50. And it's cool, man. It's totally cool. I love it because by really kind of like taking the time to learn a little bit and take some actions that made me feel a little bit uncomfortable and go after stuff that I normally wouldn't, I feel like I'm starting to understand in a very real way how this works and how it correlates to other things in real life too. This is a great teaching tool. It makes me go earn a little change, put a percentage of it into the Veve app, and just kind of have fun with that as I go. So big shout out to everybody out there like in Veve land because this is so interesting. So today I just found out that the drop I got a common Ghost Rider comic. So not even a high mint, something like 19,000. So that's an easy flip. I don't want to really just like hold when I can just make that extra money that I can put into something else. So yeah, it's a wild world out there right now in Veve land, and that's just kind of where I'm at. Like I don't know exactly what the appropriate move is, but I have some hints. I have some things that are kind of pulling me in certain directions. So yeah, let's keep it going. Well, before we keep it going, let me tell you about my shop, the Refined Otaku Shop on the Etsy store right now. I'm going to pan up so that I can scroll. All right, so rock with me, guys. It's spring all around the corner, and it's time to get spring break ready. And if you're an anime fan, get the Chibi anime swimsuit. They're vibrant, they're fun. It's a way of, having that nod to your otaku nature without being over the top. And that's why I love my little shop. So you can support the podcast by getting a Wild with Wilder t-shirt. I've got the podcast version there. That's all white. And I have just the Wild with Wilder logo on a free tee. Get yours today. Proceeds go to us. We are trying to keep the steam rolling, keep the ball moving. We also have some cool otaku anime designs. I've worked with some fun artists, and I have even done some of the actual design work myself. But now is the time. So since summer is coming up, since spring break is coming up, it's 10% off of all women's bathing suits. You can get all the different variations, fun patterns, fun bikinis, and tell you what, everything in the store is 10% off if you enter the code name Wilder, WILDER, for the Refined Otaku Shop. Get 10% off of your order today. Okay, so before we slide off, I want to talk a little bit about these fun comic book drops. So New Comic Day is every single Wednesday, and I've started to get in the habit of just kind of reviewing what's coming out, what am I interested in, what looks cool to me. So I have some where it's some interesting comic books that I wanted to take a look at where I think that they are probably going to be good buys to get. Now, obviously, I'm just talking from my perspective. This is not financial advice. But in my opinion, these are the stuff that I am wanting to hold and seeing what happens down the road as the MCU changes, as new characters are being introduced. If I ever want to read stuff, I just download it on the Marvel app. I get it on my iPad, or I'll go and I'll get the trade paperback. But as far as the actual issues of comic books, I'm looking at a lot of number ones, first appearances, and just cool, unique events. So let's start with this one. So Wednesday, March 2nd, Strange number 1. So this is a new Sorcerer Supreme. And here's the cover right here. Strange number 1. I'm going to read the description. A new Sorcerer Supreme rises. Doctor Strange is... And a new Sorcerer Supreme has taken the title. Or should we say Sorceress? So, okay, Clea is her name. Now, here's the thing. Oh, whoops. It took me to another page. So here's the thing. This is curious because I'm going to have to do a little research. I'm not sure if this is her first appearance or just her first issue. But look at these variants, bro. So this one, I'm assuming that's the main cover. But look at this. The 1 in 200 Archer variant, Virgin variant. That's amazing. That's amazing. I would love to get my hands on that. And I love the variant styles and the variant covers. They always look fun. And I was asking myself this question too. Like, is it even worth, if you have the option, is it even worth getting the regular one just to have it? I mean, or should you put your money towards getting more of the variant issues? I was wondering that with the Iron Fist that I grabbed. Like, where should I stick my money, you know? I think this one was 1 in 200, right? Hold on. Mana Carnage Forever variant. No. I was looking at this one. This Campbell Virgin variant, 1 in 500. That's cool too. Yeah, so if this is a first appearance of a character or this is just her first book, I always think it's a good idea to hold on to these because she may end up being a popular character. Going down the line, the big money for them up front is on people like me coming in and trying to get the cool variant. You kind of can't go wrong. So I'm loving this one just for the artwork of it because I think it's really, really, really impressive. I'm loving this one for the artwork of it because I think it's also really impressive. But it's just a fun little thing to look at. So let's look at what else is coming. That was the only one that interested me in this March 2nd in particular, just because it's, you know, it's new Strange. It's number 1. It's a first appearance. What if she ends up being like a Gwen Stacy or Miles Morales and she ends up being one of those characters that people really relate to? Well, we will find out. Time will only tell. In addition to that, let's jump to March 9th. Captain Carter number 1 is coming. This is a no-brainer. Captain Carter, as she appeared in What If, she has the nice British flag all over her body, all over her shield. She is out there. She is getting ready to go. I liked Agent Carter, the show, too. Kind of gave me the same energy as an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Pretty good. Not like super brilliant TV, but really fun. And she's a cool character, man. I like Peggy Atwall, who played her, so it just made it great. So let's look at these variants. Now, I really have a lot of love for the character design variants. I think they're fun because I'm just a fan of like design art and stuff like that. So I see this and I'm like, this is amazing to me. I wish it was more sketchy, but it's super, super cool. Now, I always like to play guess the variant that people are really going to go for, the one that's going to be the huge seller. Here's a Women's History Month variant, and March is Women's History Month too, so that is the perfect month to grab yourself a Peggy Carter. This is one that I think would be cool to have just for the historical context. I think that would be great. Really cool. And then this was her from the What If variant version. So with Steve Rogers is on this one too, and you have the Watcher. So this is I think people are going to go for this one because we know it. We know it as a variant. But you can't really go wrong. I think this is going to be a really fun thing to get. And why not? Why not? So this is one of those issues too, because I'm familiar with the character. I know Peggy Carter like that. I think she's fun as a character. I'm going to probably like buy them digitally as well and read them there. Just because I want to know what's going to happen in the story. Is there going to be some link to What If? Or are we just going to get to see all of the fun adventures that she and Steve went on that we just weren't privy to on the show? So I think that's super dope. So let's kind of keep going. Next we have Spider-Gwen, Gwenverse #1. I'll get to it, but I love this variant. This kind of like anime style variant. But let's get back to the actual main first issue. The one that I saw was, let me go back. Nope, that's a Veve page. I think it was this one. Here it is. This is the main cover. Gwenverse #1. Now this one I don't know anything about, but it's Spider-Gwen. So any type of significance, I don't know. Any type of anything, I don't know. But look at all these characters. There's a Gwen Wolverine. There's a Gwen Captain America. There's a Gwen Captain Marvel. There's a Gwen Thor in the back. These could be potential first appearances, especially when you look at this Derek Chu variant, Gwen Wolverine, and you see Hulk reflected in the claws. Is that a Gwen Hulk or just regular Hulk? So there's a lot of cool ways to go. Now, I like this one because it has that anime style to it. The 1 in 100 Momoko design. It's really, really cool. But look at some of these. Bustos Stormbreaker variant. Wait. Is that her as Beta Ray Bill? No, that's just her as Thor. And that's them as the team. So yeah, this one is an interesting book to me. Just because anything kind of like Spider-Gwen, anything Spider-Man, anything Kamala Khan, Miles Morales, and kind of X-Men, but more Wolverine I'm paying attention to just because I know how ravenous the fan base is. And I love artwork too. So sometimes I have to remember that it's not just about the artwork that makes something amazing, but artwork certainly makes the variants kind of cool. And then there's this other Spider-Man comic book called Spider-Punk that comes out in April 6th. Anarchy in the Spider-Verse. Spider-Punk gets his own series. I'm going to get issue 1 just for this cover alone of Punk Spider-Man sticking to the wall with his Converse and his spiked mohawk and his studded bracelets. That's hilarious. I know nothing about this comic book. I just think it's the coolest comic cover, and it's Spider-Man. So you never know. This might be someone's favorite Spider-Man memory from when they were a kid, and then the next thing you know, in 5 years, you're sitting on one of the only pristine editions of Spider-Punk that exists. So that's like the stuff that like interests me. I love looking at like new comic books, what's coming out, covers, especially when I'm in collector mode. Anime manga doesn't really have that. It's all internally driven by the story. There's no real collectorness surrounding it, not to the extent as comic books and other things. There are collectibles. There are things to get, but it's not like, oh, I have this #1 issue of Hunter x Hunter manga and I'm selling it for like crazy. It's like, no, you can kind of recoup if you got it for cheap and blah, 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 blah. So yeah, like just one of those things, one of those cool times and everything like that. So, yo, that's all I have for you guys today. I need to eat again, and I got to go take some photos. So, thanks again for watching Wild with Wilder. It's your host, Ilex Wilder. Thanks again for sticking through the full episode. I hope you guys are doing good on your drops. Keep doing what you do. Keep chilling. Subscribe to all these channels. If you want to find me on Snapchat, you can either follow the link that's been on this video towards the end. But it's just Wild with Wilder on Snapchat. Talk a lot about photography on there. If you want to follow the new Instagram page, it's Wild with Wilder on Instagram. It's Wild with Wilder on Twitter. It's Wild with Wilder on Medium. We are just wild and we are everywhere. We're keeping the world wilder. So thank you so much for tuning in. Peace.